Welcome to another episode of Little Talks, your weekly dose of marketing news and insights from Littlefield Agency.
Which I just established is one of the worst pizzas.
Okay, real quick. Now, this is a very interesting conversation. Welcome back to another edition of Little Talks with Littlefield Agency. I'm Sam Littlefield. With me is Roop. Pizza Roop. We're having a pizza conversation. Yeah. So for those that are listening in Tulsa, I've got three naysayers in the room. I love Mazzio's Pizza, but it's really for the nostalgia. And they did buy a wing company. I do eat their wings. I think they're very, very good.
It's probably number 2 on our chain list.
So a lot of times we bring in Mazzio's for like lunch and learns. Are you guys not happy with that?
Whenever someone's like, "Oh, free pizza in the kitchen," I don't get excited.
Wow. I think this is cutting me to the core.
You could bring the.
What's your favorite pizza place, Claude? Delivery.
Delivery, I would say Domino's.
Okay, Domino's,
they
great
their
crust.
Recipe.
Yeah.
They changed everything.
All right, what about you, Roop?
Pizza Hut.
Okay, Maddie? Okay, fabulous. Love Andolini's.
Empire's the way to go, though.
Empire's incredible, but I don't consider them delivery.
You know what sucks about Empire, though?
Yeah.
Empire has that massive, giant-ass box that does not fit in your fridge.
No. Oh, I know. That's tricky. So you got to eat it and you got to bag it up. But those
we have a way
we
can angle it in ours if we move a bunch of stuff, but I don't like doing it.
The way to go is getting the $4 slices.
Well, I'm not trying to sound cheap. Yeah, I agree. I'm not trying to sound cheap, but if we order Mazzio's for the agency for lunch and learn versus Hideaway, and Hideaway is great pizza. Don't get me wrong. My neighbors own it.
Really
fabulous, right? Yeah. But it's double the price. I bet it's about $200 to order the agency pizza. If we order Hideaway, it's about $350.
But you can taste the quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here in Tulsa? Deep dish Chicago pizza?
No, just like...
Oh, in general. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Fabulous. Do you like it? So good. So good. Yeah, for anyone. We'd love to hear your thoughts. So even if you're not in the Tulsa market, do you have a good pizza place?
Yeah.
We talked about Little Caesars.
Marco's is also good. It's in Broken Arrow. It's a chain.
What are you doing in Broken Arrow and Coweta? I got questions.
Eating Marco's, apparently.
Claude, right before we went live, was like, yeah, the Little Caesars in Coweta is really good.
I just spent a lot of time there.
I'm a big pizza fan, and we'd love to hear if you got something real good in your market. We do travel a lot. We'd love to hear your drop it in the comments, man. Well, it is good it's good to be in the studio. It's good to be inside. It was a whopping 4 degrees when we woke up this morning. Trent told me it was -5. Wichita's canceled schools because of the cold.
I believe it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually surprised that Matthew's school wasn't canceled, so it's nice to be inside. It's going to be below freezing until tomorrow.
Did you look at the Apple app to see what the temperature is?
Yeah.
Okay, so it said 3 degrees, and I always quickly go to see what does it feel like, though, because that's the real temperature, right? And it says it's 5 degrees, feels like -50. It said 3 degrees, feels like 4. I've never seen that.
It feels warmer than 3 degrees?
1 degree.
I think it feels like it's... My nose got frozen defrosting my car this morning.
The difference between 3 and 4 is negligible at best.
Well, I emailed someone in Magnet. They're in Pittsburgh. It's 1 degree in Pittsburgh. Seaside, Florida, which we were talking about this earlier, it's supposed to get 5 to 6 inches of snow. Miami's in the 20s. Austin, Texas got snow this morning.
There's a place in Louisiana that has had its first in the history of the place a blizzard warning.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in Louisiana.
A blizzard warning.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. A blizzard in Louisiana. Who'd have thunk? Wow, 2025, man. Off to a crazy start this year. We got a great topic for you today. Before we dive in, I want to mention something that I love about my job. And he'll probably be listening to this episode because he's about to be on a trip. But I just got about probably 45 to 50 minutes with Trent from Grasshopper on the phone. And I don't know, it makes my day. I love, he and I try to catch up quarterly. It's just refreshing. The really interesting thing is we talked a little bit of work, but it's more about life. It's more about things going on. How do you handle this? Hey, my kids are doing this. And I don't get to have those conversations very often with clients. For any clients listening, I offer that. That's great. But Trent and I have developed a really cool friendship just based on conversations like that for the last couple of years. And I appreciate them. And so for those prospective customers listening, I hope you have relationships like that with your agency because to me it's refreshing. I think it's really cool that we have that relationship, that we can conduct business professionally, but we can still be friends personally. So
that's what you were doing all morning?
That's what I was doing for the last 50 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's like nobody here. It's cold. Everyone's gone.
Hey, we got work to do, man. We got work to do. Okay, with that, I lead with our one and our only topic today, Claude. Roop, I lead it. No, you lead this. This is a great, interesting topic that we have a little bit of information we're going to shed light on.
Yeah, today's topic is the ethics of AI in B2B marketing, or really any marketing.
I think this is any marketing.
AI, of course, being artificial intelligence, which everybody knows that now. Right off the top, let's just say we are still exploring this ourselves.
Yes.
So there's definitely areas where
I think it's a moving mark.
It is a little bit of a moving mark. But there's, I think, some basic tenets that you can kind of ask yourself as you're navigating these waters. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? Are we doing this ethically, or is this going to get us into some sort of lukewarm water later? Maybe hot water. We don't know.
I think as we discuss this topic today, it is super important for you to know that we do not have all the answers.
No.
What we thought we knew a year ago and what we know today is just it's always changing. But let's talk define ethical AI. Walk me through that, Roop.
Yeah. So the concept of ethical AI is the way you probably see it discussed most frequently is if AI is used in social posts, it's so close to looking real, like it's a video that looks really real. Is it ethical to label it as an AI video? The answer is yes, and I think most platforms, YouTube, Facebook, are moving towards trying to label AI as AI.
And do you have to label it as an AI-generated video?
Currently, no. I want to say there's a couple of the platforms as you upload that prompts, is this AI generated? They might be able to tell, and they kind of prompt you for it. So they're moving towards that. But for a long time, that wasn't the case. It was, kind of a wild thing. You would think about if I wanted to, I could probably generate a video of you giving me like $1 million raise.
Totally.
Right? And say, hey, well, Sam said it, and he told the world, and we have to do it. So, you want to know that, what you're looking at's real, and what you're looking at's not real, or is AI generated. So that's kind of the easiest way you see it. But the way we use it in marketing is a little different. It gets into how are you using data, how are you negotiating with talent?
Yes,
that you're using.
I've got many examples to talk through this.
Yeah.
Can I chime in?
Jump right in, yeah.
So the first one, let's talk video. My father, who is 72 years old and a lovely man, will send me things, and it'll be an interview, a PGA Tour interview, and it'll be incredibly vulgar. And it's a golfer talking about the BS of this and F that and all this stuff. And he's like, man, I've always respected that guy. Can't believe he was such a loose cannon. I'm like, Dad, that's not real.
It wasn't John Daly?
Huh? No. No. Good job, Roop. I'm proud of you. But I was like, oh, Dad, this is AI through and through 100%. And he was like, oh, that's...
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
But again, he was fooled. Trent sent me a Jerry Jones presser. It was hilarious, right? I absolutely knew it was AI. Mm-hmm. Some people probably don't. I think of the legal repercussions. Like if I saw a video out there and it's me giving you $1 million raise.
I have that video ready to go, by the way.
That's pretty good. But it's like, man, the legal ramifications of this could be really dangerous.
Yeah. And
you're tainting someone's name potentially.
It's one thing for some sort of creep on the internet to create that content and post on your social channels. It's another for you as a brand to generate it, use it on your social channels or in your marketing. So don't do that.
Yes.
Don't do creepy things with AI.
No. Yeah, that's a big no-no. But customer data, man, that could be. So, Roop, talk through if you just sign in and have a free ChatGPT account. Anything you enter is now available to AI from a data perspective, right? It's like it's open source.
Well, that's kind of how it's moving. So, we've talked about first-party data in the past, and that's data you own and collect on your own from your users on a website or through forums or however you gather that. But stuff you control and you manage in your own database, maybe in a CRM system like HubSpot or Salesforce. AI is starting to enter in those areas, and AI is starting to train on some of that data.
Yeah.
So, those little pop-ups when you hit a website that says, hey, we're going to cookie you, and there's a bunch of legal gibberish, and you don't want to read it, and you hit accept all. I want you to keep doing that because I want to get that data. But what you're going to start seeing pretty soon, it may already be present in those, is, hey, just want to let you know the data that we collect from your visit here will be used to train our AI models to better serve you or give you more personalized experiences. And some of that's going to be true, but you need to tell people that that's how it's being used. Just in the same way they need to know they're being cookied and followed around the internet and things like that. So this is kind of just an extension of some of that, I think, in data. But you got to be real, you got to be real transparent about it. And I wanted to mention that because it's the first bullet point in the script this week is that in context of B2B marketing, ethical AI really breaks down to being transparent, being fair, and showing accountability. So the transparency is telling people that you're doing this or telling people this video is AI generated, right? Fairness we'll talk about in a minute. And accountability is you're owning it. Like this is, we are using AI to do this thing.
So I have a question. Google came out within the last 90 days, maybe even longer than that, and said something along the lines of, hey, we know when there's AI generated content and we're going to penalize you if you're just copy and pasting AI and taking the easy way out, right? How do they know? Like, for example, I wrote a blog post yesterday for Littlefield Dentistry, my wife's dental practice. And obviously heavily leaned into ChatGPT. And then I, as a human, edited it, made sure it sounded like it was coming from Tara, et cetera. But I'd say 75% of that content is generated from AI. So what is the transparent way to, and I don't want her to be penalized. So what's the approach there? And I'm not just saying for me as Sam and for my wife as Tara. I'm talking for you as a B2B marketer because we all know that you're using it and it's a great way to use it. But talk to us about blog posts.
Yeah, so you can use it to manage and get results out of data, but also for just straight up content creation. If you're writing an article, Google has indicated that they will penalize or not even show what they determine to be AI generated content. And there's a tool they have where you can kind of run content through and play with that. I'll tell you right now, I've played with that with some 100% AI generated articles before I went in to do your editing on
Roopify it.
Yeah, and rewrite them, and they did pass. They did not notice that they were AI.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm not sure how good that tool is or how real that kind of threat is or that what they're saying there. But yeah, what you just mentioned is really seems to be kind of the sweet spot right now, at least as I read about it. And again, we don't have all the answers here.
Yeah.
But if you're using AI to generate topic ideas and an outline off of that, and maybe to write a first draft of an article for you, the kind of key is that you're going back in, and you really want to do this anyhow, because Lord knows what AI says on your topic. It makes stuff up sometimes. So you want to go back and rewrite that in your own words or tweak it out in a way that makes more sense for what you intended it to be. It's really just kind of the bones of what you're going to ultimately create and build. Do you have to notify people this article started with AI? I don't think you do yet, especially if you're going in and putting 30% of yourself into it, 50% of yourself into it. I think at this point it's kind of assumed most articles, other than like authors and honestly in some cases journalists have been caught doing this too. But I think it's kind of assumed most people are leveraging AI for that sort of content outline, content preparation stage.
Well, and as I was writing some blog posts yesterday, I did 3. Probably took me an hour and a half total in the sense of like editing it. But I look at it, it's like, okay, that's a good chunk of time. At the same point though, if I had to write those 3 blog posts by myself from, call it 7 years ago, it would have taken me half of my day at least, right? Yeah. Like it's a great,
and it still took you a while to go through and make sure it wasn't saying weird stuff.
No, of course, they're with Tara to make sure that they're all legit too, because I did find some weird discrepancies. Yeah. Like that's as a novice dental person, that's not
and if you're
true.
writing about a B2B brand, for example, let's say an underground construction company.
Okay, love it. We know
at least one. You can't really rely on AI 100% to do that for you. It doesn't understand the nuances of the products or the way that language is used, style guides, things like that. That's just stuff it's not going to know. So it's not going to always do the job for you 100% anyhow, and hopefully no one's using it that way.
So as a B2B marketer, where do I start in my ethical AI journey?
So the first thing is you want to, again, you probably should write it down and put it somewhere in on your desk. Transparency, fairness, and accountability. But you want to start as you have team members leveraging AI for different areas of your team, either content creation or I'm going to say coding, but that's probably not as ethical. Coding is a little more mechanical. If you're using voiceover work or photos, things like that. Anyone that's in charge of those areas, you want to kind of have a talk with them about, well, if we're using this, we need to make sure we're upfront about it. I'll give you an example that we had here for Beyond the Moon.
Okay.
Our Ditch Witch podcast, season 2 coming soon.
Love it. I love the plug, buddy.
We had such a great record last week. We didn't talk about that. That's okay. Anyhow.
That's a good secret because it was incredible.
It was really good. When we were creating the intro for that, we knew the voice we wanted to use. He works at Ditch Witch. He has a great, gravelly, really rough Ditch Witch type voice.
Yeah.
He wasn't feeling good on the day he read and didn't quite have the energy we needed. What we were able to do is take his voice, drop it into AI, and have someone else, I think it was Rocco, do the read with a little more enthusiasm. And then it was his voice with that inflection.
And that incredible.
Before we went any further, we had to tell Scott, hey, we're going to do this with your voice. Are you okay with it? And he said, sure, absolutely, no problem.
And it turned out awesome.
And it turned out
Listen
great.
to the intro. It's fabulous.
Yeah. So we did use AI there, but in transparency and fairness and accountability, we wanted the guy whose voice we were manipulating to know that we were doing that, and he was okay with it. If he had not been okay with it, we would have just brought him back in and recorded a few more times.
Of course.
But
you're transparent with it.
Yeah, and he's an hour and a half
fair.
away. He didn't want to make the drive again, so it was a good outcome for everybody. But we could have just done that, not said anything. That's not ethical, right? Like you were entering an area where you're infringing on someone else's talents, and you want to be ethical. In that
and I know of a
situation.
specific client example that I won't get into the details of that the original VO guy got sick and he couldn't do it anymore, and so we actually took what used to be his VO with AI, got his permission. He still got paid. That's the key thing, right?
Yes,
because if he ever
fairness
caught,
part.
that's the fairness and of course ethical. Because I guess Cliff Notes version, we encourage you err on the side of caution because this is so early, and the last thing we want is your B2B brand being sued because you just had the oversight and didn't think through something all the way. Happy to chat. Again, we don't have all the answers, but I think it's a very timely topic because I just think more and more, especially B2B brands, financial institutions, et cetera, will be leaning into these tools more than they ever have before in 2025.
Yeah, and we talked about this, I think, on the last podcast. The differentiator between your brand and others as AI starts to really flood into our feeds and into our daily lives here will be authenticity, and you're not going to get authenticity through AI.
Yes.
Now, AI can help you kind of shine some corners, but it's not going to replace a good, authentic human voice.
All right, I love it. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay, so there's a snippet. I'm sure we'll revisit this topic later this year.
Yeah, we should.
Because I think, again, it's a moving mark and something that we have to be very well aware of. But again, we're always experimenting. We're always trying things. But we're transparent and fair people, and it's important for your brand to do the same. Next week, we have an awesome topic. We will, I think it's going to be warmer weather.
Yeah.
Greener pastures.
Boy, I hope so.
It's going to be great. I just feel cold right now, and I'm inside. It's warm, But anyway, as always, we appreciate you taking the time to listen. If you're traveling, be safe, and we'll catch you next week.
Adios.
See ya.
And that's a wrap. We hope you've enjoyed our little chat and found ways to grow your own marketing strategies. Remember to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and follow us on social media @Littlefield Agency.